Yeah. I'm not going to take much time at all because I know the least about our organization and all these people. They all know what they're doing. But I want everybody to say the name. Greenville County. Come on, everybody. Greenville County. Disabilities. Special Needs Board. And I'll say it all together. Greenville County Disabilities Special Needs Board. Now that you've committed that to memory, we're going to change the name of the next month. And we're hoping to change it to one or two, words, not letters. I'd like a short, not quite that. But we are rebranding, and part of it is because since I got here, a little less than 3 years ago, I found out that people in the community really didn't know what we did, even though we were the 10,000-pound gorilla in the room. People thought we were state employees. We're not state employees. They think we're part of the state Disabilities and Special Needs Department of the state, and we're not. We're funded 80%, not 100%, 80% of our funding comes from there. And people think we're a county agency. Of course, we're not. But we were started, the organization was started by a state statute that dictated that our board had to be nominated by county council and approved by the governor. So that's where the confusion comes in. We're a 501c3 agency, like many of you are, but we're a quasi-governmental agency, which means we have to follow certain governmental procurement and selection of the board, like I said, Open Meetings Act, things like that, because we are substantially funded by the state. And there's a board like ours in almost every county of the state, not quite, but almost. And some of them are called other names, like we're going to be called different names soon. And, but we're all separately incorporated. We all have our own boards of directors. We all have our own staff. But there's the confusion. So a lot of people think we're a county or a state agency. If you learn anything today, I hope you all understand that when you leave, that we aren't a state or a county agency. We're a 501c3 just like you are. Now, that's going to be hard to believe once you find out all the things we do, all the things we're mandated to do as a provider in the state. But we're not the only provider that does those things. There are other private providers. Goodwill is one. Miracle Hill. There's a few other case management. Family Connections. They do same types of programs you're going to hear that we do in Greenville County and throughout the state as well. So we have competitors for other agencies that do that. And one last thing I'd like to talk about with about what Mike said is that we came and we hired Mike as our employee. I prefer not to think of Mike as our employee. I think of us more as a sponsor agency for Greenville Camp. Mike happens to coordinate it, and yes, Mike is an employee of the organization, has our benefits and all that. But Mike and I were very clear at the very beginning, and we both made an agreement and a promise to the Barbara Stone Foundation, who started the whole thing, that we were going to keep this at arm's length. We were going to allow Mike to do what he needed to do, keep this coalition together. And so Greenville County Disabilities Special Needs Board has no bigger seat at the table than any of the other organizations. I feel very strongly about that. And there's a couple reasons. That's what builds collaboration, right? If you all thought that this huge agency is now in charge of Greenville Can, you're less incentivized to be part of it. You just figure, okay, everything's going to be taken care of. So I'll go off and do my fundraising and do what we're going to do anyway. And I didn't want that to happen. The other thing was purely a selfish motive. When I got in here, there are some things we need to clean up in the organization. Not as many things you would think. They got a lot of bad press about 5 or 6 years ago. But some of it, most of it was not, it was true, but most of it was because of a few bad apples on the board and as a CEO and some other key staff. But most of the staff that were here then are here now, and they're thriving and they're doing great. So one of the things we needed to do, though, is we were this huge agency in the community, and we didn't play well with other people. Probably the only staff person who knew what the other agencies did in the county were Ann and her case management staff. But the rest of our staff didn't do much intercommunication with the other agencies. And I felt that was wrong. So one of the reasons I wanted to step up and be a sponsor of Greenville Can is to make sure that we're at the table, helping you understand what we do. And I'm glad we're here to do that today. So, I'm not going to read all this stuff. You want to talk to these other people, but we're a much larger agency than most people think. So we have over 520 employees. We're the 30th largest employer in the county. When you think about it, that includes for-profits as well as the hospital systems, the county government, all of that. Total operating budget $23 million, 2,200 individuals we work with in case management. Is it 22 or 24? It changes. 22,000, okay. 22,000 individuals are under case management.
Around 2,000.
Around 2,200. That's why I should read it. This is the one I'm most proud of, though. I'm so proud of it, I'm going to let you look at it. Last year, our individuals, because I see us as an employment first agency, we have to worry about getting people out in the community, integrating the community, but we really should be helping them become employed in some capacity. It could be some minimum wage for those who don't have the productivity levels up to be able to compete, all the way up to people like we had recently, which got community employment, did so well, they're off the benefits now. They're like you and I, they work for a living and pay taxes and everything else. But last year, our individuals and wages earned $727,000. That's amazing when you think about it. That's a huge financial impact for our individuals and our families. That's how much they earn, not us. That's how much those individuals earn. And that was a 17% increase in just 1 year over the last year. And they didn't really track it prior to that, so we don't know where it was 3 years ago, but I would suspect it was even lower than that. And we're doing a lot of cool things at the agency now. I'm really proud of our staff. I mean, you have the brightest people at Greenville County Disabilities Specialties Board here today. If ISIS wanted to take us out, they would drop a bomb on us right now. I'm sorry, Dana. The smartest people that we have are in this room. And when I say to them, look, I really think we ought to try this micro enterprise. And I think this is really fine community. That I can go to my meetings and meet with people. And obviously I'm not going to Weight Watchers, but I'm going to but as I'm out and about, they actually take the ball and run with it and make it happen. So with that, mission and vision, I'm not going to go into that boring stuff. You can read it. But I really thankful if you're all coming here. I want to thank Dana too. She's been one of those quiet supporters throughout the whole Greenville Can thing, and so I want to thank you again, Dana, for all you've done. She's a great person, and I support them financially because she's a great person. I hope you'll think about it too. So, with that, who's first?
You got one more slide.
I got one more slide. Thanks. Well, you know what? We're going to get into the details of the stuff with Ann's presentation. But primarily, we serve people with intellectual disabilities, a certain IQ or lower, I believe. Is that how we measure that? And then persons with autism on the spectrum, traumatic brain injury and spinal cord injuries, and that's in a program called HASKI, the head and spinal cord injury, and they're out at McAllister Square. The individuals are certified for Medicaid services, they get on a waiver, and then they're deemed fundable by the state, or the state decides to fund them, and then they're given a list of providers, and they choose a provider. So they can they can be in Greenville County, qualify for our services, and never come to us for services. They could go to someone else for case management, someone else for residential, and so forth. So we're just one of the other providers in Greenville, upstate, Greenville County, although we're the largest. And then we really try to, our case management division, we have a couple people here, do a fantastic job of working with families, connecting with resources, connecting with providers, even if it's not us, helping that family choose what's best for them. And we coordinate that from birth to the end of life for those individuals. So with that, who's next? Ann. Ann's next. And I can sit down. So what's the name of our agency? Now you know why I want to take this.
Hello, I'm Ann Arrington, and I've been with the board forever. I started in 1979, which is 36 years ago, and I've been in this field since 1974, which is 41 years ago. So I have spent my adult life working and serving people with intellectual disabilities and special needs. and it is a joy. Enjoy the people I work with and the people we serve, and it's a great joy to be a part of this organization. I am the director of family supports, and case management is the biggest piece of what we do, and I'll tell you more, but this diagram I like because it kind of shows us as the hub of the wheel connecting people to the spokes. These are the different service areas that we have. Things start and end with the case manager. When people come into the system, they qualify for services through the State Department of Disabilities and Special Needs. They choose a case manager, and then the case manager works with the family to do an assessment, a plan, and to link people with the resources that are available in our community. Not just what the board provides, but anything that they need. Social Security, Medicaid, school, social services, mental health. So our case managers are very skilled in knowing the resources in the community and connecting. People actually enter the system through the Department of Disabilities and Special Needs. A lot of people call me. A lot of people say, well, I was just told to call Ann Arrington. So that's kind of who I am, and I generally push them in the right direction. So family supports is my division, and we oversee case management. A big part of that is Medicaid waiver program. Medicaid waiver is kind of like supplemental health insurance to Medicaid, to state plan Medicaid. Most of our people qualify for Medicaid because they are both poor and disabled. Medicaid waiver is not something you can just sign up for. It's not an entitlement of any kind. It's something that where people, they're awarded slots through the state purchases a certain number of slots through the contract with the federal government. So, but it has become through the years the meal ticket for somebody to cash to get into our service system. So, and we have 4 different Medicaid waiver programs that our case managers oversee. There's one, the IDRD, the Community Supports Waiver, the HASB waiver, and the PED waiver for children with autism. And all of those programs are very, have a list of menus of services. Anytime you want to go to the DDSN website, you can really learn a lot about all of the services, the standards, the directives, our regulations, all of it is there. So the case managers largely have Medicaid waiver caseloads. We also have family support grants. We provide cash assistance to people for things that are not covered through waiver programs and emergencies. We also have an early intervention program. The last Lunch and Learn, many of you were here. You heard from Beth Justice, who's my director for early intervention. She and the BabyNet folks gave a presentation about early intervention. They're working with birth to 5. And then HASB Center, our head spinal cord injury center, John mentioned, is in McAllister Square. And they work primarily with people with brain injuries and some people with spinal injuries, people who've had trauma or an accident and have been profoundly disabled as a result. So, case management. We have a large caseload of people who have qualified for services. Only about half of that number are actively case managed, and most of those people are actively case managed because they're in a waiver program. We deliver case management through either through the waiver, or we also have Medicaid targeted case management. Some of you may be providers also for Medicaid targeted case management if you're with mental health or DSS or another organization, or even maybe through the hospital system. But people who don't have waivers and have Medicaid can get a case manager through us. If they don't have either and they're in a crisis, they can get state-funded case management. If they can't get services through Medicaid waiver, they can get state-funded community supports, and then they can get cash assistance for special needs through family support grants. 16 case managers in our office. A few years back, we had 29 before the economy crashed, and we had caseloads of 34, and now we have 16. We're back up to 16 from 12, but they have around 60 families that they work with at one time. So Medicaid waiver, some services that are provided, it's, the whole point of Medicaid waiver is that people are waiving institutional care to get care in their home community. They're waiving going to a hospital or a nursing home or a long-term care facility to be in a home-based setting. So families can get caregivers in their homes, respite, personal care, companions, attendants, medical equipment and supplies, have their environments adapted, have their vehicles adapted, behavior support services, things like incontinence supplies is something that we do a lot of for people. There are some things that are funded for children through state land Medicaid and some through us for adults. Okay, so did we already leave our case management? That's okay, just make sure I covered it all. Okay, so Kid Ventures, we have 139 children, birth to 5, and our early interventionists there are 10 of them. They go to the homes every week and provide family training and case management or service coordination. They're folks that connect young children to services that they need. But mostly they're there to teach families how to access resources and how to work with their children when they're not there. And of course, their goal is to reach their fullest potential, and that's the goal of everybody that you work with, is to help people reach their full potential. Okay. Caskey is, we have a center at McAllister Square. This is some information just about why we do this. In 1993, we went from being the Department of Mental Retardation to the Department of Disabilities and Special Needs, or the state umbrella did, because we picked up two groups. One was people with autism, and the other was people who had had a head or spinal cord injury, but nobody had them. They had no organization that worked with them. So we are one of 4 centers in the state that do work with people that can come to a center for work reentry and activities, but it's a very high incidence rate in South Carolina. Mostly men are between the ages of 18 and 25 are the ones who are most likely to suffer brain injury because of obvious reasons. So we have one of the 4 centers you can go to. And we have a drop-in center 2 days a week, and they do all kinds of activities. And we're a group on the go. You may run into these folks. They go out to restaurants and ball games, and I think they will implement more than any other department that we have. We have rehabilitation supports people that go into the home. We have help people find jobs. We support their parents, and they have support group meetings and caregiver support group meetings. And of course, we have 2 case managers there who are focused on how to work the Caskey waiver. I wish Kay Brooks could be with us. She's the director of that program. She's going to be in Columbia today. She's a very talented, skilled, passionate person working with these folks. So those are some pictures of them getting out and about, going to the Lake Honesty and the State House and the car show. Just a couple of successes we put in here. Children that we work with, young children, we've had such good luck is to be able to work with a child that was at risk and have such an impact with the child is able to go to a typical classroom or in a special classroom, and the parents really contribute that to our workers and their contribution. Sharon is an example. Was actually somebody that worked for our organization in one of our residential homes, and she had a brain tumor, and she suffered a debilitating brain injury from surgery related to it having had a brain tumor. And so now she's our client. And I always like to say with Caskey, any of y'all could be our client tomorrow. If you are in a devastating motor vehicle accident, you could be our client tomorrow. So anyway, Sharon has done a great job. She actually has her own place, and her sister died, and she adopted her sister's child, and she has somebody that comes to help her every week. She uses public transportation, and she's survivor also of domestic violence, and so that gives you just a little flavor for some of the arms of this work. There's so much that goes on in families and people's lives, and we are a lot of times just kind of helping people person they can come to and that we can get them on their feet. So, I'm available, my contact information is there, call me.
We're gonna have a billboard, we'll add cell phone,
Yeah, call in here.
especially when she retires.
You said I'm not over yet.
Who's a delusional person?
We wish that would never happen. Everyone deserves the, happy afterlife. A lot of us have put a lot of years of our lives into the Greenville County Disabilities and Special Needs Board, and I'm one of those people. I'm Elise Hardin. I'm the Director of Day Services. I've been with the agency since 1985. Well, 4-year break to take care of my babies and then come back to work here. Most of that time I worked with the wonderful Ann Arrington as my boss, and John has given me the honor of filling this position 2 years ago, and I absolutely love it. I know every one of us with the board who's in this room loves what we do. We love helping people with disabilities, looking past a disability to see the person, and then trying to help them have an enriching and fulfilling life. Fulfill their potential and have fun and have joy. So that's what we're all about. Our day services is pretty broad. We have 4 locations. Well, 3 locations, 4 programs. We have 3 sheltered workshop programs. One is in Fountain Inn. One is in Berea on West Blue Ridge Drive. One's at Patrick Center on Ridge Road. And then we have an activities program also located at the Patrick Center on Ridge Road. At the 3 workshop locations, we offer career preparation services. That's the name of the service that the waiver funds. And that is what you would consider a pre-vocational shelter workshop kind of setting where we're helping people to learn the right social skills, how to talk to a supervisor, how to stay on task, when to take a break, when not to take a break, that sort of thing. Community services and day activity services, those 2 services are housed in the activities program. And those services are more for people who, I'll back up. We are an employment first agency. We do want everyone to be employed on some level. Not everybody wants to be employed on some level. And even as much as we encourage that, sometimes that's just not going to happen. And then there are other people who we know their functional deficits are such that they are not going to be able to be competitively employed. For those people, we try to carve out jobs or maybe pieces of jobs where they can do some work and get some pay, but for the most part, meaningful activities and continuing education, preventing regression with skills that they've already learned is what we're working on in the activities group. Linda's here from Washington Center. One of the things that we're really focused on right now in day services is students transitioning out of Washington Center or any level of special education into employment services or into day activity services. So we're really excited to be able to hire an activities coordinator who is now got this incredible curriculum that includes music education, art education, dance, movement, of course, the traditional things that we've always offered, increasing your ability to take care of your personal care and, the daily activities, cooking and things. Our most recent cooking project was making dog biscuits, and they turned out pretty well, by the way.
I understand,
Did you try
Kate's
them?
dog was. Don't think
I
I
did
will.
not try one, but I'll be taking one home to Finnegan tonight, my Boston Terrier. So one of the ways that we have
the way that we are the most intentional about making the services that we offer wonderful and exceptional are these two philosophical foundations of our services. Person-centered planning, which I think most of you probably are familiar with, and positive behavior supports. I'm not sure if everybody understands what that is, but the main objective is for the people we serve to feel valued, to know that we respect their ability to achieve, and that we find that for them. Sometimes they don't know. They don't know what they want to do. Their parents aren't sure what they want them to do. And then we have people who can't talk, can't tell us. So we have to work very hard to find out what it is that floats their boat and makes them have a great day and a good life. So person-centered planning is extremely important. Like I said, we want to look past the disability at the person. What is it that will make their life better? And we have to figure out. We have to talk to everybody who can tell us about that person and what it is that they need. When the person can, of course, we want them to be involved in decisions regarding their training, their programming, all of their activities. And then positive behavior supports, you're probably pretty familiar with the fact that some of the people we serve do have some challenging behaviors that we have to manage in a way that's going to help them. And there's nothing punitive that we do. So everything we do has to be, we have to have a positive approach, to know the person, know what might bother them, know what makes them, what motivates them. All of this is about knowing people. If you really know somebody, you gotta love them, and if you love them, you're gonna serve them well. So the positive behavior support model, every one of our staff is trained on it. Our day services, we have 3 certified trained positive behavior support trainers who also train our staff. They also observe them through 2-way windows, so they don't know they're being watched. And then we give them feedback, and we make sure that our staff are engaging with the people that we serve continually, positively, and personally. So those are these philosophical ideas are what make our program excellent and I think different and exceptional. So we have, everyone has, improvements. Anyone can make improvement, but we are working very hard at that. Okay. Oh, I go on and on.
No, I'm sorry. I speak too.
I know. So these are some pictures of some things that we've been doing, arts and crafts. We've been doing some great things with crafts. We've got movement therapy. The Carolina Dance Collaborative is working with us. Parker Ramscock, who introduced himself here, Parker, is our greenhouse and garden manager. And we have 2 greenhouses. We have one, getting ready to have another one, and a great big garden. So anyway, it's really fun and really interesting, and we think people are enjoying themselves, having a good time. And we are too. So, successes, there's so many, but I won't go into them all. One of our individuals, Kenny, everyone loves him to death, but he does have really a lot of anxiety and a lot of vocalizations, and we found out that he loves Vivaldi's 4 Seasons. Playing Vivaldi's 4 Seasons has really just chilled him out. So it's kind of amazing. And Edward, I'll just get down to Edward. Edward, nobody thought that he would do an art activity or paint, but when he was offered the opportunity in the right way, he did it. The staff are just having a great time because the individuals we serve are doing things and they're going, wow, I didn't know you could do that. So anyway, when we assume that people can instead of that they can't, we see a lot of really neat things happen. I think that's neat. Okay.
Good afternoon. How's everybody? Good. I'm probably the youngest of the group as far as when it comes to how long I've been here. But what I bring is a lot of energy. Do you feel it? Do you feel the energy? Okay, good. Good. I'm on the Director of Employment Service or Contract Services called. As we stated before, we do definitely make sure that employment first is the head of everything, which means we want to make sure that we're getting people out to work. And not only that, they are being paid at least minimum wage or above. We have 3 areas here. We have the center base where they work in the workshops. We bring jobs into the workshops where the individuals are able to work. We have the community-based supervisors, supervised by work opportunities where we take individuals out to enclaves as a group or as individuals, but they are supervised. And then we have what we're trying to get everyone to is the individual competitive job placement. Okay? So with that, wait. In order to do all this, you have to have a vision, right? As you know, the CMS report said that we have to get these people out of the shelter workshop into jobs. They didn't give us any type of guidance, instruction, or what. So we had to come up with our own. We call it the PATH model. The PATH model is designed for every individual to be on a path of progression. Okay? So what you see here is the PATH model that we came up with. It offers 4 levels of employment support. We have learners, which are basically, sometimes they used to call it the basic skills. We have the seekers, which are those individuals that are in our workshop, and sometimes they call it the shelter workshop, but we like to call them an opportunity for them to work inside. Okay? And all we have. Then we have the explorers. These are individuals that are working on enclaves, going out to businesses, working right along with the supervisors. They have a supervisor on site, as well as working right along with the individuals working at the company. And then what we're all trying to get to is the adventurers. These are the individuals that have progressed to the point where they don't need a supervisor on site. They're basically working in a business paid by the company, and basically a lot of them saying, hey, we really don't need you anymore because we're at the point to where I'm at a company and I'm making my own money. But if you see the axis here, boom. The whole thing is we're still with the core values of Greenville Disabilities, and the reason we have this is because it's more like a support group, a net, should you call it, a safety net. That means these individuals can go all the way up to okay, all the way up to here, but if something happens, and say, for instance, they're at the adventure stage, the company closes, okay? So they're not just left out there. They can always go back into the Explorer and look forward to going back out to the adventure again. Same thing with the Explorer. They get here, they're not necessarily, something happens. They can act, but we're always progressing them forward, okay? So, the PATH model emphasizes on learning, personal development, individual empowerment, and supportive environment. And the focus on abilities. Not disabilities, but abilities. Okay? We don't even see the disability anymore. We're looking definitely at what these individuals can do. In order to do this, employment services, we have serve, observe, approve, and promote. These are the 4 elements in which we get the individuals to the next level. We serve. One number. Our number 1 priority is to provide consistent service to our individuals by supporting them. And making sure they're getting ready for the next level. We have to observe them to make sure that they're having the proper skills to move to the next level. And then we have prove them. That is done by, we're checking with the managers, the people that's working with them, making sure that they all agree that these individuals are ready to go to that next level. And then once we do that, we promote them. The workshop coordinators and the managers will then be responsible for promoting the individuals in the proper position. I say proper positions. Every individual doesn't go to everything that Johnny goes to. Johnny may not be able to go to the same thing that Billy goes to. So we have to make sure it's a great fit for our individual. First, what do? You ask them. You talk to the individuals. Don't just put them there just because it's there. You ask them, is this something you want to do? All our individuals, we get input from them before we actually put them in a position. One of the things, we are more than 450 individuals are being served through employment service. Day services, 102, workshops, 267, enclaves, 44 enclaves, Source America, which is a national group here. Competitive employment, these are the individuals that are out on businesses on their own, okay? And as John said, the earnings for all these individuals in 2014, fiscal year 2014, which means we're still in it, which was $727,000. Now, this is the amount that they earned. That, can you imagine? This is almost $1 million, right? This is what they earn. So we're paying the individuals their worth. Now, if you're earning that kind of money, what does the individual, what does that make you feel? When it comes to your worth, your net worth. Feeling good about yourself, right? And that's what we need to do. Making sure that they're feeling good as well. Here's some pictures. We've actually partnered with the Feeding Seeds, where we're actually supplying fruits and vegetables to those individuals or to the homes that may not get the well-cooked meals.
Through the Head Start program.
Through the Head Start, yeah, through the Head Start program. So this is what these individuals are here doing. DOMA. DOMA was one of the micro enterprises that was started. DOMA, as you know, in the near future, all your federal documents will now have to be on some sort of electronic device. You won't be getting the paper anymore. So we are thinking forefronts ahead here. We're looking at, we actually started this department to where we scan documents. Okay, we're starting with our own since we have so many. We're scanning the documents so that now, if you have to pull up account for Johnny or anyone, they can just put it in the computer and it pulls up that whole account for them. Okay, so we're going to be coming out to you guys also, offering you this service, because I'm sure you have a lot of documents that need to be put into an electronic format. They do the shredding. Okay. Competitive workplace, competitive employment. This young lady here is working at Furman, okay? We just won a major contract with the company in Spartanburg. What was it? Can't remember the name. Contact Inc. But they are employing 40 of our individuals, okay? As you can see, we have the workshop here, where the individuals are working on boards where they actually, the company pays us to clean their board that they use in processing. Here's the shredder. This is one of our individuals. He owns this machine, okay? You can't come in there and just start working. He owns this machine and he'll tell you, you're in my workspace, now get out. But that's what we want our individuals to feel. We want them to feel ownership of what they're doing. Another micro enterprise is our car wash detailing. If you ever had your car wash at our detailing station here, you would say it's the best car wash you've ever had. One of the things you don't see is called our crew. Our crew is commercial, residential, exceptional workforce. These individuals go out to commercial buildings, residential, they do stripping and waxing, they do pressure washing and everything. Okay? For instance, these are some of the successes today. Employed 23 years at Hilton Hotel, and having an affectionate smile. And this is one of the biggest things. I like to be around people. Having a job has made me more independent. I'm looking up more now. I used to look down all the time, but I'm now looking up. Those are the things that I get pride out when I see that we have these individuals feeling like that now. So that's what I do. Again, I work with a lot of different companies. This is one of the most rewarding because you can't get this type of reward working for 500, Fortune 500 company. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Stacy Witzel. I'm the residential director for Greenville County Disabilities Special Needs.
Our program provides support to 245 individuals across 47 different programs in Greenville County, from Fountain Inn, the GR, the Greer, they're all over. The primary function of the residential program is to provide help, safety, and accountability to the individuals we serve, while promoting growth and independence in the least restrictive environment. And that's a mouthful. So what that actually means is we assess the individuals upon admission and thereafter throughout the year and determine what their levels of support and their needs are throughout the year. The most restrictive level of support, or the least restrictive environment with the most support, is our ICF facilities. We have 7 facilities. We serve 64 people across Greenville County. Those facilities typically serve people who have higher medical needs, maybe tube feedings, a lot of mobility issues, the self-help skills, care in that area. The next level of support is our community residential care facilities. We have 2 of those. Those are actually licensed by DHEC as well as the ICS. These facilities are licensed by DHEC as the same as an assisted living that you would see in and about the community. We serve 24 individuals in those 2 facilities, and they are regulated, and at least annually, every 2 years, they're regulated by DHEC. The community training homes, that's the largest group of folks we serve. We serve 104 people in our community training homes. HUD also supports us in that area. A lot of our funding comes from HUD in our CTH facilities. Those people have, their needs may not be as great. There are some medical issues and some behavioral issues, but primarily those folks are the ones that Martin was discussing that are able to be employed in the community. The lesser restrictive environments we have is our SLP2 program. Staff are on site 24 hours a day in this program as opposed to the SLP1. The staff, we have 3 different apartment complexes, 1 20-bed and 2 12-beds, one in Fountain Inn and one in Travelers Rest. Staff are available, but the individuals do have their own apartments. But their accountability levels are a lot lower, maybe 8 hours, 10 hours, maybe once a day. Those folks go on enclaves. A lot of them get their own transportation to work. A lot of the people in these programs work in regular jobs at Publix and different things like that. At any point in time, an individual, just recently we had an individual in our higher levels of support whose medical status changed. At that point, she was moved to this level. So that's what I mean by the least restrictive environment. Our team comes in, OT, PT, our nursing staff, our programmatic, operational staff. The professionals come in and say, what is the least restrictive environment for this person? But it is, at any point in time, someone could come from this program to this program if they were able to get this skill level. Again, the highest level of support we provide is here in the CTH homes. And you may drive by the CTH homes and not even know it. A lot of our programs are again built by HUD and maintained by HUD, but some of them are just houses that we buy in the community, and you would never know that they were there. The admissions process, it is a little different for our agency. We aren't able, you couldn't just come in and tell us that you need someone, to be placed in our facility. It is a process. The person, the family member, whoever the surrogate is, caregiver, reaches out to Anna's department, and those people are evaluated, and the packet goes in from Anna's department to DDSN. They determine what level of care this person, that they will be able to be supported in and what will be funded. At that point, your name goes on a critical list statewide, so a person that Ann refers may actually be placed in the lower part of the state if a bed's not available here. Because right now we're at 100%, so we don't have a bed open. So if they should find someone that needed placement, they would go on the statewide list. As well as our county, when we have an opening, we may go to the lower part of the state and get an individual from there to bring the support here. But that's we do have a lot of success stories. We got a lot of different programs that we don't have to time to go today. But two of our success stories is our family apartment. William, when we was working with Lisa, we took Kate to meet Lisa, and I think she wanted Kate over instantly, but she's a huge Michael Jackson fan and saved up her money and got all her paperwork together and carried it to John herself to get permission for her and the staff to fly out to. She saw everything Michael Jackson, where he died, where he's buried, where he lived, and all these things. But we have a lot of them, but I think she sort of touched your heart when you speak with her. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to give me a call. We're glad to talk to you.
I didn't mean to start talking.
Your steps.
Just wait till you hear me, John, I'm gonna blow you away. My name is Craig Bird, and I'm the Director of Development and Marketing for Greenville County Disabilities and Special Needs Board. And again, I can't wait to not have to say that anymore. But I've been with the organization 5 months, and I came in to start a whole new department for the organization. And our primary focus is, of course, going to be on fundraising. And why do you say, well, why do you need to raise funds? You're getting money from the state to provide services. Well, of those 2,200 people that we keep showing that we're providing services through case management, a lot of those folks are on the waiting list for funding for services. So we're going to start raising money so that we can help those folks on the waiting list receive some services that they're not getting now. Marketing. A lot of people don't know who we are. They don't know what we do. It's interesting. We just we're doing a rebranding, and I'll talk a little bit about that later. But we just did a survey, and I'm sure some people in this room participated in that survey. And it was very interesting with the results of that survey as to how much people don't know about us. And even the people that we serve don't know about us. It was really quite eye-opening, and quite frankly not a surprise because we haven't really been marketing what we do to the community. And then also we're starting up a volunteer management program. Thank you so much for your help. We actually hired a volunteer coordinator, and we're in the process of seeking out volunteers to come in and provide us extra hands to do the things that we need to do to make the lives of the people that we serve much better. Talking about immersed in rebranding, we have been immersed in rebranding. We hired Crawford Strategy, which is a well-known organization here to kind of help us rebrand and change our name. And we have done surveys, we've done focus groups, there's been a lot of folks that have been talked to get feedback on the organization. And one of the things that they didn't realize when they took on the job, and they really found it out when all the senior management team sat down with Crawford Strategy, is how many audiences we have. And that really opened their eyes, and I think it's going to help us come out when we launch our brand, which is going to be in February. I think John is focusing on February 25th, which is when we're going to have an annual meeting, and we'll launch our brand and our name and everything at that time. And it's going to be so great to not be confused as a government entity or anything like that. Next slide. This is our phone numbers, and this is soon to be our old email, and it's soon to be our old website. But rest assured that if you plug in that information after we change our name, you'll go to the right location. Next slide. We are a happy place, and to kind of finish the presentation, we'd like to take a few moments and show you this video that was shot a couple years ago, and we just recently uncovered the video in our vaults. Here it is.